Ever wondered how ancient civilizations, without our modern cranes and heavy machinery, managed to build colossal structures like the pyramids of Giza or Stonehenge? We're talking about moving stones weighing tens, sometimes hundreds of tons, with incredible precision. The mainstream explanation points to brute force ramps, ropes, and a whole lot of human muscle. But what if there was another, far more sophisticated technology at play? A technology that's been lost to time, a technology based on sound. Today, we're diving deep into the mind-bending theory of acoustic levitation. Could our ancestors have harnessed the power of sound waves to make massive stones virtually weightless? It sounds like science fiction, but the clues might be hidden in plain sight, carved into the very stones they moved. Let's start in Egypt. The Great Pyramid alone is made of over 2 million stone blocks, some weighing up to 80 tons, transported from quarries hundreds of miles away. Think about the logistics. The sheer manpower required would have been staggering. But some researchers propose a different idea. They point to ancient Egyptian texts, like the one from Arab historian Abul Hasan Ali Al-Masudi in the 10th century. He wrote of a magic papyrus placed under a stone, which was then struck by a metal rod, causing the stone to float along a paved path. Is this just a myth or a garbled account of a forgotten sonic technology? The core of this theory is resonance. Everything has a natural resonant frequency, a specific frequency at which it vibrates most easily. If you can match that frequency with a powerful enough sound wave, you can cause some pretty amazing things to happen. We've all seen the classic example of a singer shattering a wine glass with their voice. Now, imagine that on a much, much grander scale. The idea is that ancient engineers might have been masters of acoustics. They could have calculated the precise resonant frequency of a granite or limestone block. Then, using specialized instruments, perhaps large horn-like devices or even coordinated chanting, they could generate a powerful, focused sound wave at that exact frequency. This intense vibration could have created a sort of acoustic cushion, drastically reducing the friction between the stone and the ground, or even causing it to briefly levitate. The stones wouldn't necessarily float high in the air, but they could have become light enough to be guided into place with minimal effort. This isn't just pure speculation. Modern science is actually catching up to this concept. We have acoustic levitators in labs today that can suspend small objects, like water droplets or tiny components, in midair using sound waves. The principle is proven. The only question is scale. Could this technology be scaled up to move multi-ton blocks? While we haven't built a device that can do that yet, the physics doesn't entirely rule it out. It would require an immense amount of energy and an incredibly precise understanding of harmonics and frequency. Let's look at the structures themselves. Many ancient megalithic sites exhibit bizarre acoustic properties. Inside the king's chamber of the Great Pyramid, for example, there's a granite coffer. When you make a sound inside that chamber, it resonates at a very specific, deep frequency. Researchers have found that the chamber seems designed to be a massive resonator box. Was it just an architectural quirk, or was it intentionally designed to amplify sound for a specific purpose? Similarly, at sites like Stonehenge in England or the temples of Malta, certain areas produce strange echoes and magnify sounds in ways that defy simple explanation. Were these places built to be giant sonic instruments? Consider the Coral Castle in Florida, a more modern but equally baffling example. A single man, Edward Leeds Cullinan, built a massive structure from huge blocks of coral rock, some weighing over 30 tons. He built it alone, in secret, mostly at night, between 1923 and 1951. When asked how he did it, he was cryptic, simply saying he knew the secrets of the pyramids and understood the laws of weight and leverage. He claimed to have discovered how to counteract magnetism and gravity. Some who claimed to have peeked at his work said they heard a strange humming or buzzing sound while he moved the stones. Did Lietzkalnin rediscover this ancient sonic technology? Unfortunately, he took his secrets to the grave. Another fascinating piece of the puzzle comes from Tibet. There are stories of Tibetan monks levitating heavy stone blocks up a cliff face using a combination of chanting and precisely arranged musical instruments. According to a story recounted by a Swedish civil engineer named Henry Kjellson, he witnessed this feat in the 1930s. He described monks using 19 musical instruments, including large drums and trumpets, positioned in a specific arc around the stone. They would chant and play, and after a few minutes, the block would rise into the air and land on the clifftop. While this is an anecdotal account and lacks hard proof, it's another thread in a global tapestry of stories linking sound and levitation. Skeptics, of course, argue there's no concrete archaeological evidence for these sonic devices. We haven't found any giant ancient trumpets or frequency generators. They maintain that conventional methods, while difficult, are sufficient to explain these constructions. They point to evidence of ramps at some pyramid sites and experiments that show large blocks can be moved with enough people and lubrication. They argue that the resonant properties of these chambers are just coincidental byproducts of their construction. And they're right, there is no smoking gun. But the absence of evidence isn't evidence of absence. If these tools were made of perishable materials like wood or were seen as sacred and guarded by a priestly class, they may not have survived. The knowledge itself could have been an oral tradition, passed down through generations and eventually lost. So what do we make of all this? Is it just a fantastic tale, or are we on the verge of rediscovering a lost science that could rewrite our understanding of the ancient world? The theory of acoustic levitation challenges the conventional view of our ancestors as primitive. It paints a picture of a civilization with a deep, sophisticated knowledge of physics, acoustics, and the fundamental forces of nature. They may not have had iPhones or spacecraft, but they might have understood the universe in a way we are only just beginning to grasp again. Perhaps the greatest structures of the ancient world are not just monuments of stone, but silent symphonies, their secrets waiting for us to finally listen. They challenge us to think outside the box and to consider that our ancestors were not less advanced, but perhaps advanced in a different way. The truth is likely a mix of both incredible human ingenuity and labor, possibly aided by techniques that we've long forgotten. The mystery of the megaliths endures, a testament to human potential and a reminder that there are still so many secrets buried in our past, waiting to be unearthed. What do you think? Were ancient civilizations masters of a lost sonic technology? Or was it all just ropes, ramps, and a whole lot of sweat? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey into the mysteries of the past, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next adventure. See you next time.